after I got diagnosed with POTS, I was really bad off. I had to lay on my floor every day. I had to crawl across my house. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get enough air in to eat very well. I had people helping me with my kids. Like, it was just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And my doctors had told me when I got diagnosed that I should take up reincumbent biking or swimming. And they told me to do strength training, like just little isometric exercises, but it seems so stupid to me because I could barely even move, and like just flexing my arms and my legs during the day wasn't going to be the answer to my recovery. So I didn't do a lot for a long time. But then my doctor sent me to a physical therapist, which I highly recommend. And I had to learn the hard way that small things really do make a big difference. So I went to physical therapy, and at the time I was pregnant. So I was like 7.5 months pregnant, going to physical therapy, and he had me get on a reincumbent bike, and I couldn't even have the strength to do much. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go to my local gym, because at the time I didn't have a reincumbent bike, and just do a couple minutes every day or whatever. So I went, but the ordeal of just getting in my car, packing up a wheelchair, driving over to the gym, getting out, having my husband push me in my wheelchair to the bikes at the gym and getting on it was enough to almost make me cry and kill me off. And I remember we did this once or twice, and I got on the bike and I could not pedal hard enough or fast enough to actually keep the bike on. Like, I would just pedal a little bit and I couldn't even keep the bike on. I'd have to keep restarting it because I just didn't have anything in me. And 5 minutes was like a huge success, and I nearly died, and it was going so slow. So I decided that was for the birds. It took a lot of time, a lot of energy. So I hopped on my mountain bike and decided just to go a couple blocks, which I did. But then I got home and I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like there was no way I could do this. I had to lay on my floor in my living room, upside down, with my head on the floor and my feet up in the air for a good half an hour, taking deep breaths and trying to distract myself before I could actually get to a spot where I was calm and I could breathe and I felt like I wasn't going to pass out or both throw up. And it was a rough recovery for just, riding 2 blocks. And I did this a couple times. But the thing is that I loved about it was like, I'm actually getting outside. It might be for 5 minutes, but I'm getting some fresh air. I'm getting outside. And so I did it a couple times, but the recovery was always so rough. One of these nights when I was just like laying on the floor dying and wondering what on earth I was even going to do about any of this, or if this is going to be something worthwhile, my husband started Googling over on the couch, and he said, okay, you're going to do a bike race. And I was like, yeah, right. And he's like, no, he found a race that was 9 months away, and it was 20 miles. And he's like, you have 9 months to do this. This is like almost a whole year away. Like, you can just work up a little bit at a time, and this is your goal. Let's do this. So I didn't sign up, but I kept it in the back of my head. I'm like, what if I could take 9 months to get myself ready for this? Like, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. I could take 9 months to do this. So I started going 2 blocks, and then the next time I went 3 blocks, and then the next time I went 4 blocks. And I just kept with it, and I enjoyed getting out and getting the fresh air and just going a little bit further each time. And some days were bad and I didn't go that far, but that was okay. And I do have to mention here, something that I did was make sure I went in the evenings, because in the mornings, you guys know who have POTS, you can hardly function. You can't hardly get out of bed. You can't breathe. The blood pressure and your heart rate haven't caught up to you getting up for the morning because you've been asleep and laying down all night. I'd wait till evening time when I felt well, and my husband was home to take the kids, and I went late at night because that's when I had already had all of my electrolytes for the day. I had already had a bunch of salt and food, and I was feeling my best, even though my best wasn't that fabulous. And so I did it at night. So I'd recommend that for anybody. So we finally got a reincumbent bike, because I couldn't go too far because it was pretty chilly outside. So we, like a stationary reincumbent bike for indoors. So we just found one on the classifieds for about $125, which, you know, it's a lot of money, but it's much cheaper than buying something brand new. So we bought it off the classifieds, and I started just saying, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes every night. And my physical therapist had given me a packet with kind of a heart rate goal, and to work my heart this hard for so long and do these intervals and different things like that. But honestly, every time I tried to push myself to do certain intervals, see, I'm getting out of breath because I'm talking while I'm biking, I felt like I was going to pass out, and I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was going to throw up. So I threw that out the window and decided that would come later, and I just decided 10 minutes. No matter how tired I am, no matter how I feel, no matter how sick I feel, no matter how slow I go, I'm just going to do 10 minutes every single night, no matter what. So I started doing that, and you guys, you know what? If I did that every single night, excepting Sundays, I did 6 days a week, I would start having just a little improvement in my symptoms during the days. And I just kept sticking with it, and the more I did it, the easier it got and the less sick I felt. So then I started doing 15 minutes a night and seeing how much I could do. And then I said, okay, 20 minutes every night. I'm just going to do 20 minutes every night. I kept doing that till summertime, and I kind of put it out there to friends that I was looking for an outdoor reincumbent bike, because by now I was like, okay, this is something that there might be something to it. But I knew that they were so expensive, and I was just riding my mountain bike around. But that's kind of hard when you've got POTS to mountain bike entirely. Anyway, I had a friend that contacted me that found an outdoor reincumbent bike for $100 that some lady just wanted to get rid of. And so I jumped on it, and I got that bike, and it opened so many doors for me, because sitting in a reincumbent bike was like sitting in my wheelchair. Like, I could do it, and then my feet were up, which is what is a great thing for POTS anyway. So it's like I'm sitting in my wheelchair and my feet are up, and then I'm pedaling and I'm getting my heart going. And so that opened so many doors for me, and I just kept going with it. And so at the end of that summer, I was able to slowly and dead last do a 20-mile bike race. And I just took that reincumbent bike, and I went a few blocks, went a few more, went a mile, went 2, just bumped it up. Just every time I went, just go a little bit further. And if I started regressing or feeling kind of sick, I would just go a little bit less. But I really just, the consistency and doing it at night were like the best things I could have ever done. And it changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. It helped my POTS symptoms improve drastically. I lost weight. I got a lot of muscle tone back from when I had just spent a year laying on my couch and crawling on my floor. It's helped my stomach problems. I mean, we all know that exercise is good. And people with POTS is a very hard thing to do. But if you can find the one thing that helps you, then it's like a complete game changer. Along there's other things, dietary stuff, medications, and sleep and stress and so many other things. But you guys, this changed my life. So at the beginning of this year, I started using my mountain bike because I was getting strong enough on the reincumbent that I felt like I could try it. So I would alternate rides. Sometimes I would do the mountain bike, and then sometimes I would do the reincumbent bike. However I felt. If I was feeling really crappy that day, I'd do the reincumbent. And if I felt really good, I'd do the mountain bike. And I set a goal to do a 40-mile race at the end of this summer, just to bump it up every year. And again, doing it at night when I felt the best, being consistent, doing it every single day. Even if I felt like garbage, just going out for 10 minutes. Doing it every single day. And I really feel like getting my heart pumping, getting the blood flowing, really changed my life. And I think it helps with all sorts of healing to have that blood flowing, and I could think clearer, and I could function better. Because after you get going for a while, and if you're strong enough, that heart just keeps pumping and you can keep going. And I can't walk past my mailbox and I can't go in a store without a wheelchair, but I can bike forever. And so we went all summer, and then for my anniversary, my sweet husband, who is the biggest cheerleader and most amazing man, decided to get me an actual road bike, because he's like, you know what, there's something to this. You love it. It's making you stronger. It's making you healthier. It's changed your life. And honestly, biking has given me a reason to keep going and something to be motivated for and enjoy, and it's redefined everything. And I absolutely love it. So he got me a road bike. He's like, you're putting on lots of miles. Let's do a real bike that's not going to be so hard. And road bikes are a lot easier than mountain bikes, because the weight is so much different and the way you're positioned is so much different. And I'm strong enough to do it. So 2 weeks ago, when I had planned to do a 40-mile race, I felt really good, and I ended up biking 63 miles. And this is like, I don't have words for how much freedom that gives me and how much confidence I have to set other goals, to overcome this and to work through this. And it's just incredible. Like, I can't even describe how much freedom I feel when I'm on a bike and I can go anywhere I want and not worry about passing out or having to worry about a wheelchair. And I can do anything I want, be who I want to be, and do all this stuff. So I know that getting different types of bikes may not be an option for everybody, but do what you can and start somewhere. I mean, there was a point where I felt like I have no hope. This is never going to get better. Like, this is just my life. But then when I was able just to do a little bit more every day, even if it's a block, and then I had to lay on the floor for half an hour, and now, unless I'm really pushing myself hard, I don't have to lay on the floor for half an hour. I just come home and I feel great. And it's really changed my life. So I just wanted to put that out there and share that with you guys, that there is hope and there are things that you can do to improve your situation and to find something you enjoy and be happy, and that you can get stronger and you can work through this.